Ladies and mostly gentlemen, today we're going to do something different. Yes, we're going to do some speculation. So get on your tinfoil hats and someone call Pyromancer, because we're going to do some speculation on the brand new login screen for Battle for Azeroth. Now this video comes as inspiration from a video by Shinies and Lucky Doos, who are really great content creators. You want to check them out. The link is in the description below this video. They have a video all about this as well, but I'm just going to expand on it a little bit and maybe look at it from my point of view with like model view and stuff like that. So this is the brand new login screen. If you haven't seen it yet, you probably have. It's really great. It's obviously the culmination of the Battle for Lordaeron. You have the Alliance and the Horde kind of weapons there with some birds flying around, and obviously the Gates of Lordaeron. Now this is an interesting login screen because it doesn't use all in-game assets like previous ones have. It's obviously quite arty, but it does have some in-game models, and that's actually what we're going to be talking about today. More specifically, we're actually going to talk about the birds hovering above the Gates of Lordaeron. Now as you can tell, these are actually in-game assets, or at least some of them are, because they're just the way they act and the way they operate. They are just in-game assets. And it's kind of interesting, and this is where kind of this theory comes from. So straight away I looked at this and I watched Shiny and Lucky Do's video, and I thought, right, I'm going to zoom in on the model viewer because we can look at the login screen a bit closer on there. So I zoomed all the way in and I could see that the two birds that are furthest away are actually a part of the login screen. As you can tell, when you get really close, they're just like crows or something like that. But the other two which are closer are the ones that we're going to talk about today, and they're not featured on this model file for the login screen. And just by looking at them, you can tell that they're different to the crows in the background, the way they fly, their wingspan and stuff like that. So comparing the animation to the closer birds, you can see that they don't use the same flying animation. My first thought was that they're carrion birds, which is a model which is used all around World of Warcraft, and comparing the animation to the closer birds to the carrion birds, it's just not the same. It really isn't. Just the way that it flies is not exactly the same as that. So I ruled that one out. And actually, all of the other birds in World of Warcraft didn't match this animation at all. To me, the closest animation and wingspan looks like the Drake model, in my opinion. If you look at the animation, it's a combination of the flying and gliding animations, which you get when you're riding around on your mount. Now, this combination of animations actually gives the best effect of hovering over the battlefield, like a normal bird would hover over its prey. The only rumor killer on this theory is that the tails on the ones on the login screen don't seem to be existent, and they just kind of look like bodies and wings, but that could just be due to the fact that they're so small and they're obviously so far away that you can't actually see these specific details. So if you look at the scenario itself in game, and this is quite spoilery, at the end of the fight, the zone is blighted by Sylvanas, which is very similar to what happens at the Wrathgate. Actually, taking a look at the Wrathgate cinematic for a second, just compare the sky from that cinematic to the sky on this login screen. And it's pretty damn similar if you ask me. In fact, it's almost identical, and I don't think this is a coincidence. And obviously at the end of the Wrathgate, the area was blighted and the dragons just burnt the entire area and then flew away. Even the silhouettes of the dragons flying away is extremely similar to the silhouettes that you see on this login screen. In fact, if you actually go in game right now on the beta, you can see that the area around the front of the city is on fire. In fact, everything is on fire. And playing through the actual scenario on the beta, there is no moment of this fight where everything catches on fire. Although that being said, there is some data mine info that Sylvanas potentially blows up the city at the end of the battle, but the city itself doesn't seem to be on fire. Interestingly enough, there are no signs of dragons in the area, and not even any birds for that matter. But this could be a swerve until the pre-patch actually hits the live servers, along with the epic cutscene which is currently missing from the conclusion of the scenario. Currently it's a placeholder with Thrall from Dragon Soul. It's definitely a great theory, and Shinies and Lucky Doos really got me thinking on this one, so I just felt like I needed to make a video kind of comparing some of the animations and seeing what the differences are. And honestly, if you ask me, I think it might be some sort of interference from the Red Dragonfly, similar to the Wrathgate. I think they're just holding off on this kind of story arc. I think there's a lot missing with the Battle for Lordaeron scenario and all the cutscenes that are included. I think that and the Burning of Teldrassil have some really big secrets that we just don't really know. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic time once that pre-patch hits the servers in July. So what do you think? This video was really to promote discussion on this theory, and I'm sure much more intelligent people than me can figure this out and debunk Shiny and Lucky Doos' theory on the dragons being on the login screen. And again, shout out to them for their fantastic video. The link to that video is in the description below this video. Make sure you go over there and slap a like on it and go check their channel out. It's really, really good. So before I go, I'd like to give a massive shout out to my amazing patrons and YouTube sponsors. You guys are awesome. If you'd like to support the channel in that way, links are down below. So leave a like on this video, guys, if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't. Also have a partner Discord channel with over 3,000 members and a brand new merch store over on Streamlabs. Link to both of those is in the description. And with that, I'll see you next time.